Hi, all my beautiful souls. I am LSF, or as Matt calls me, I'm Shaman. And this is Breaking the Cage for March 24th through the 30th. This is beginning of eclipse season. And I even was marking it as, like fuck around and find out eclipse season. It really is hitting us a lot like that. It's just very raw. But this isn't necessarily a bad thing. But you've really got to take a look at who we are as humans here and why I call it breaking the cage and trying to exit out of the programming. I mean, the more I do my own personal work on myself, as well as just spiritual work and work with my guides, the more sadly I look around and the humans in general, humans, are just programmed for such masochistic energy. And I don't mean it badly, but it's true. I mean, we have gotten so comfortable in our uncomfortable zones. We find pleasure in our pain through that comfortability. And this ultimately is one of the hardest facts of what we have to break in order to come into our true authentic selves, our light, our soul selves, and be the change that we want to see. We have so much self-sabotaging energies that we don't even recognize are part of our belief systems. And we find comfort and pleasure in it. And this is why I'm saying, as humans, we're programmed really to be masochistic. Hold on. And what Spirit was giving me is we have to break this by really getting raw, really getting true with our shadow selves, really loving ourselves back to right, really seeing where we're in our self-sabotage. And that's what's a lot of this lunar eclipse energy that's been coming in as we just passed that Pisces moon. And as we're coming into this lunar eclipse energy and into the eclipse season. And why I was saying it's kind of like fuck around and find out. Nobody's excluded because it's getting into where we're in that comfort zone where it's not even denial. It's just, I overlooked it. Oh, wow. And it's situations where we're really looking at, we can't blame outside of ourselves. And we literally have to take the shit that we've created in our world and Rumpelstiltskin the shit out of it. I mean, spin that literal shit into gold. And understanding how to get into what Spirit is giving me is I've gotten for this year in general from the dragon energy. They're saying determination, 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 determination. But then Spirit is backing it up also with 444. And that has so much grit in the energies we're going through. I mean, really, like, just bite on and hold on to that. Because for me, 4 is a universal energy. And they're giving it to me in 3. And when we work with manifestation, spiritual energy, growth, one thing you've got to learn is the universe is going to have its way. And maybe you want to see that from the godly perspective, the one true God, as people like to call it, or the Jesus Christ in energy. It's not my job to tell you how to see the energy. But what I'm saying is the universe, the bigger picture, has its plan. And it's already in full steam locomotive, the train is coming through. And we have to learn Certain things you can manipulate, shift, and change. Certain things you can't. And when we get into 444 kind of energy, we're looking at universal, we're looking at planetary, we're looking at, the 4 seasons, we're looking at the 4 elements, things that cannot be changed. They are. So this is, you really have to work with this energy. This energy is going to be unstoppable and going in the direction it's going to. And it is meant to help us bring out the higher vibration, to clear out a lot of the funky junk. A lot of this energy is also coming from that Pisces energy, even though you're looking at a lunar eclipse coming through in the Libra energy. And then the next eclipse, that solar eclipse, is going to be in Aries, but you have so much energy that's still coming out of Pisces, our universal 12th house, our grief, sorrow, shame, blame, insecurities, our skeletons in the closet where we have trouble healing. And what kicks this the most, especially this week, is the fact Venus is still here in the 12th house and it's already past Saturn. But most of your astrologers are not going to be speaking about the fact until the 26th. I think it's midday, which is the day after the lunar eclipse. Venus has not and will not cross Nessus. There's one of your keys. Nessus is considered the curse. It is considered also where the problem is coming from the ancestral healing. Where the ancestral healing is not getting, a good grip on the healing and actually bringing it into fruition, bringing it into the future. It's where the ancestral curse just keeps being the curse. And until Venus crosses it, that sensitivity is going to be high and mighty. So right through that lunar eclipse and the next day. Now, Spirit is also reminding me that we've had just today and this past week, solar flare, solar flare, solar flare, solar flare, M flame, M flare, M flare, M flare. And then the Shaman residence. So they're saying in general, watch your dehydration. Make sure that you're keeping a lot of water, or maybe it's Gatorade you need, because sometimes water is not enough. But they're really giving me, pay attention to how you are feeling through the Shaman residence spiking along with that solar flare energy. And I always say that you have the energy from the sun coming this way, the energy from the earth coming this way, and we're like in the tube in the middle going. We're getting all the jumble mix of as these energies are coming in and out. And so it does affect us. And it was funny because I had no intention really of talking about the Shaman residence or the solar flares. And it was like, this is an old paper I wrote on it. And it found itself. It's like it fell out of my paperwork and into what I was supposed to talk about today specifically. So I'm making sure to go over what's on it. And it's saying, remember, as we're going through this energy, and maybe the whole eclipse season, and then it may be, because that depends on how much Shaman residence keeps spiking and how much we keep having the solar flares or geomagnetic storms that are going to heighten this energy right now. But they're saying pay attention to how you feel. You are dealing with it, with remembering with these energies, there's often a loss of memory, a loss of time, words, sleep, and energy. Often we get hot and cold flashes, irritability and anxiety spike, dry mouth, body aches, visual disturbances. And that could be the eyes and the lens. And right now you have energies. When I get into the blueprint, we do have energies literally on the lens of how we're seeing the world, but that could also be a health issue with the way you're viewing and the way your eyes are capable of it or are having you know, acting up, disturbances in general, exhaustion, fatigue, nightmares, headaches, vertigo. Vertigo always comes with these energies. It could be vertigo in the actual physical sense of the world spinning on you, feeling up and down, left and right, kind of like the earth is moving. But it also comes with your spiritual vertigo when we're doing this, kind of getting a little confused as to what's right and what's wrong, the positive and the negative, the fine line. I'm getting what they're giving me right now is like a person from the circus went on the high wire act, holding that wire or whatever as they're walking that thin line. And I've been saying that for the last month, very much goat energy, like on the cliff. Could you fall off the cliff very easily? And I'll be the first one to admit, I get it, guys, because this energy has been really intense. And I was explaining to my own mother yesterday, I've got a lot of anxiety in my life. I mean, I'm doing my own healing, but that's why I always say my job's not to walk in front of you or behind you. I'm to walk beside you and help with it. We all are helping each other, but every once in a while you take a little slip and fall on that ego side and nut out just a little bit. This is part of the energies of what we're talking about here. And I always speak about not allowing your emotions to be what controls you. I always say, you've got to pay clear attention. That's easier said than done, especially when you're in the thick of it. And, emotional outbursts and being able to control our energies and our mind. And sometimes things just pile up until it's ready to explode, and you're seeing these kind of energies come through. And even I'm constantly saying you cannot harness your true power and potential if you cannot harness and control your inner chaos. But I'll be the first one to admit sometimes my chaos gets the best of me, and I'm seeing, like I'm seeing like the train wreck happen. I can see it, and I know to get out of that thinking, and no matter what, it's just like I can't stop the train wreck. We all are dealing with this. This is part of what I'm talking about that Nessus energy. It's that ancestral curse. It's where we haven't fully healed ourselves and our ancestral line, and things that keep getting passed down. Just like my mother was saying, I'm a Leo. So I'm a fire sign. So these solar flares really flip me out and put my energy into overdrive. I'm a moon Cancer. So then the moon rules me even more. And then I'm a Virgo anal retentive eclipse in general. So when it comes to eclipse energies, I'm like on full heightened energy. And for those of you who've been following me, like I didn't do last week's video because of the hump in the back of my neck, which we're going through to see if I have nerve damage. I'm having to do a whole bunch of tests because sometimes it makes me lose, my face will go numb on one side, and so will my arm and stuff, because my neck will swell up when these energies are extra heightened, because it sits literally on my zeal point, opening me up to higher and lower energies. And when they get bad, I can't adjust properly. And then the heightening of everything in general. This is what I'm saying is we know sometimes you're seeing the thick of it. You're feeling the overwhelming energy of what you're responsible for, how the world around you is, the world you've created, and whether you like it or not, and wanting to make the changes. And sometimes it's too much, and you can see the train wreck, but you're like, I can't seem to get out of this thinking and stop it. And Spirit is reminding me, you've got to work with this energy. Sometimes that means remember that this Schumann resonance is doing what it's doing. The solar flares are doing what it's doing. Get the rest you need. Get the liquid in you for hydration you need. You're going to have hot and cold flashes. You're going to have irritability. You're going to have the anxiety. The body and the body aches may be a part of it. They are saying, remember the vertigo, the ears ringing, the headaches, feeling off. It's all part of your body learning to balance, calibrate, and find your new center, because you're creating a new world. Remember, this is not just coming to a solar eclipse in 2 more weeks. This is coming to, a great solar eclipse. You all have heard about how it's got the X across the United States, and how this is also speaking to us about it being in Aries. It's a new beginning. It's You haven't seen energies like this ever in our astrology. This is a major shift and change with a major amount of waste coming out from, like, seeping out of us, of us learning to take our responsibility back, learning to turn literal shit into gold and be the power that we are, because nothing is more powerful than we are. Your intuition, deja vu, signs of synchronicity, all of this will be getting heightened more and more. But on top of it, what we've really got to look at is the fact, like I said, as we come through that lunar eclipse, that Venus energy is not going to cross Nessus in that 12th house, which is a lot of nostalgia, a lot of fantasy, a lot of illusion and delusion. It's where fantasy smacks you in the face with harsh reality, and hey, this has to be done. End of discussion. Come back to reality now. And that cursed energy, that healing ancestral energy that we're having trouble transferring into all that we are, breaking it up and dissolving it and finding the better true us. Venus's sensitivity is not going to cross that until after that eclipse on the 26th. Then it's going to be heading towards Neptune and the sun and going into Aries. But still, I'm just saying that emotional height, and this is also where a lot of scams can take place. I always say, when you're getting that Pisces energy, especially with the Saturn here and the Nessus here and the Venus here, this is also where it's, the Pisces good person in you, that part of your energy, that mystical wanting to believe in the good, also could get scammed really easily, like bringing the stray dog home, but the stray dog happens to be the person that robs you blind. And I've even had that happen to me in the past week. And I know this stuff. I mean, to where, like, I got ripped off of $300 this past week. Last week. And I know, it's like I said, it's that you see that train accident about to happen, and you can't seem to pull yourself out of it. I am saying I get it. I'm telling you, slow down. Slow down. Walk yourself through this energy. Get back to centered. Get back to your soul spirit. Get back to balancing and taking control. Even if that means, hey, I got to go to sleep, lay down and get my head back right so that I could get back into that determination energy of, I am the most powerful thing in my life. I am the healing character of my situation. I'm going to work with this energy of what this energy is showing me of how I'm having issues and how we overcome it. That's some of the best energy that I could give you. Not to mention, You have Mercury, which is now in Aries, and it is in shadow. So this means we are looking at some of our darker aspects of our own character and the world around us. Because Aries is the universal first house. It is me first energy. It is, I got the brilliant idea. I want to do this. Wait a minute. Now I want to do this. Wait a minute. It doesn't follow through well. And you have Mercury kind of in our head looking at the negatives because it's in shadow before it goes retrograde. So this is really slow down, love yourself. Be prepared for the energies that are coming and pamper yourself the way you need to get through this energy, because the lunar eclipse, if you stay ahead of this, the less painful things are going to be when that solar eclipse hits. And I don't mean just physically. I mean with whatever the universe, your God creator, the energy is trying to locomotively, non-stoppable create. You want to work with that non-stoppable energy, not against it. And if you're working with it and finding the underlying things of what you need to do to get yourself forward, then this is going to catapult you instead of work against you after that solar eclipse. I'm just giving you so many warnings here. You have Mars that's going to be moving into Pisces with Venus, Saturn, Neptune, and Nessus this week. You have the eclipse, which is taking place on the 25th in Libra. Now, this is speaking to us of our relationships, but also your relationship with yourself and anything that matters to you. And I just heard health is wealth. So this is, pampering and loving yourself in these relationships and what you're trying to breathe into reality. Your relationship deals with any and everything you care about. I can't say it enough times. When you have no job, no way of getting money, no way of paying the bills, you know all about your lack of money, your relationship with that money. When you have no car, no transportation, you know all about your relationship with the lack of it. So this isn't just your relationships with your friends, your lovers, your family, your exterior world, as far as, like groups and committees. It is. But this is, remember that seventh house is the ability for that relationship to be healthy or not. And you're really looking at it, questioning that Aries energy and where we're moving to that next solar eclipse on your character, how you view the world, how and what your belief systems is. Where is your belief systems playing with that Nessus energy and actually programming you for that fuck around and find out, because you're not healing. You're not growing out of it. I'll be the first one to explain. I mean, we are all under the program of some form. Even when we think we're breaking away from it, we're still learning to be breaking away from it. Those of you who know me and have been following me for any amount of time know that I've been taking care of my mother with dementia and with her heart problems, and she is getting closer to the end of her life. I really don't expect her to make it for another year. I wouldn't even say sometimes 6 months. I don't wish that kind of curse. I don't wish to put that out there, but I'm being realistic. But like my guides were giving me the, get the hell up, stop sitting here in your sorrow, da 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 da, because I was getting in my negative thinking. And it takes a lot of energy to take care of someone who can't remember minute to minute to minute to what's going on. It takes a lot of energy for somebody who can barely, take care of someone who can barely breathe and who's can't get it through her head that she's got this bad health, or that she can't remember that she has dementia, she has all these issues. And it's overwhelming as a human being who's trying to put out that love and help. But at the same time, that gets in my head sometimes, and it's like, well, I guess I can't move forward in my life until after she's gone, or until after this has happened, or until after that. And they're like, why the fuck are you putting that kind of programming in your mind? No, this is that Nessus bullshit. This is you thinking that you can't do this because of this. And all you're doing is pointing the fingers and blaming it that. That's not true. That's just the way you're thinking. We have, like I said in the beginning, there is so much masochistic energy that we don't even realize we find comfort in. And we have to realize where we are in these belief systems and break them. And stop finding comfort in things that truly are not good for us. That's what a lot of the grit here is. We create our own reality, guys. You got to remember that. So sometimes the hardest part is realizing where we're gritting and holding on, that vampire syndrome, to what we don't want to create. And where we're not taking full responsibility for what we've created. Okay. Like I said, Libra, relationship zone. Any and everything you care about, that eclipse, that lunar part, is coming through your emotional perspectives, and looking directly back at that Aries energy and illuminating just who you are as a character and how you are viewing the world that you've created, that you're part of, your masterpiece. And it's crossing into that Chiron and that North Node about learning everything you have to learn in order to heal and start this new cycle. This is a very important time about changing our views and really finding that growth. You have that Venus, which I said is going to cross Nessus on the 26th, and you have Vista, which is another big key point. Vista is the keys to everything you want. It opens the doors, and it is sitting all week on the cusp of Gemini, ruled by Mercury, in shadow, communication, everything that's up close and personal and important to you, and then the fourth house, Cancer, also ruled by the moon, lunar eclipse, and your inner emotional security of the fourth house. It's not just the security of this three-dimensional world, the security of you and the soul. And you can never lose the power of you unless you misplaced it. This is about reclaiming your inner emotional security by realizing where you're comfortable in your insecurity. That is a power session. Like, for the month, for us to be moving forward into that solar eclipse energy. When we look into the actual blueprint, the sun is on the third eye, but then it moves into the actual lens of your eyes and your cheekbones throughout the week. So this is literally third eye and eyes in general. All three eyes. And the way you are higher dimensionally versus lower dimensionally viewing yourself in the world. Mercury, which is in oh no, I missed that one. Sorry, I completely skipped that one. Chiron and the South Node are on the spinal cord and the nerve connections, which are what's sending the energies from what you're identifying through to all chakras. Once it hits that spinal cord and the nerve connections, that's literally on the zeal point, and it's sending it up and down through all chakras, including the lower chakras, which I'll be getting back to. Jupiter is on the esophagus. This is about your breathing. This is about you being able, the breathing also has to do with your pH levels. We were talking about this all last year. You also have Uranus, which is literally your independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom. Uranus is on the occipital lobe or bone itself. So all of this is that heightened zeal point according to how you're viewing and creating the world. It's literally speaking to what we are hearing, seeing, breathing, speaking, and what is being sent through all chakras according to how you're going to create your reality. And that gets back into your belief systems versus how you're choosing to view the world. Vista is on the ribs. So this is getting into the protection of how you're breathing and inhaling this energy. Lilith is on the bile duct and the gallbladder. So this is talking about us literally getting into removing the waste and that determination of needing to love yourself. Where are we being manipulated versus no, I'm standing by what I believe in. I'm standing by who I am. I'm standing by my daily activities supporting me, not harming me. And you have that south node, which is literally on the kidneys. So that's the that's the sacral chakra, relationship zone again. The moon is going to be moving through the lower chakras this week as it goes through that Libra energy for this lunar eclipse, and then into Scorpio and Sag. So we're getting into root chakra. What foundations are we building? And we're getting into where are we holding on to jealousy, lust? And you get where I'm going? And then as we move through into next week, as we approach that, get closer into that solar eclipse, we're really going into more of those lower chakras of ego. We're really getting into where there's fear of overcoming it versus lust and desire of needing it. After the lunar eclipse, that Libra energy is going, not Libra, the moon energy will be moving into Scorpio, where it will be questioning Pluto in that 11th house. So this is your universal 8th house, where rebirth is capable, transformation is capable. The death card, end of one cycle, beginning of a new, because I was given 10 just then. It is speaking to us of stepping closer into that Pluto energy, and that's death, decay, and destruction for renewal, rebirth, regeneration in the new world. So what are you bringing to the new world? Are you bringing your past you to the new world? There's your big thing. How much is you stepping into? Everything you want. But how much are you bringing your baggage? Because this is time to really bring the healing in and go, can't keep, no. We have to break these habits, that masochistic, mindful programming. And it's also going to be questioning Jupiter and Uranus in the second house with how we speak, what we hear, our expressive energy of ourself, the throat chakra. But this is also speaking of the manifestation, because Taurus energy is also ruled by Venus, which is going to be up there fighting the curse right until after that eclipse. But this is also speaking about the possessive and possession energies of your manifestation of your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. Are you feeling liberated or naive? And what kind of abundance are you bringing with that? Because we are talking about Jupiter. Anything you speak, you are speaking into creation. It is a spell. Sag is where that moon will be moving, and then going into Palace as we approach the end of the week. I mean, Sag has Palace in it, and it will also, Sag will be questioning Palace in the 9th house. Sorry. Sag will be questioning Palace in the 9th house, and then questioning Mars and Saturn in the 12th house. Mars is not the biggest, most strongest, powerful thing here. It's kind of like fire in water. It sizzles out. It's steam. And you're talking about steam fighting with Saturn rules, laws, boundaries. In the 12th house, grief, sorrow, shame, blame, insecurities, lies, denials, skeletons in the closet, really being responsible, and speaking into really stepping into your belief system. Sag is your belief system, but it also is first speaking into your chakras of lust. And how is this all playing out? You do have sextiles this week. Jupiter and Uranus is getting along great with Saturn and Venus and Nessus. But we are talking about Saturn, Nessus, and Venus in their uncomfortable zone, pushing out that sensitivity about what needs to change. And is speaking with Jupiter and Uranus in a comfortable way. So this may be about you coming into your comfortability about standing up for yourself and feeling that power of I'm going to turn the shit literally into gold, but it may also be feeling very comfortable in the idea. The thing with sextiles is you can get comfortable because you feel like you have time, and then you missed it. Feel like you have time, you can come back and get into that energy. No, this is the time. Pluto is getting along great with Neptune and the Sun. The Sun, which is technically in Aries, Neptune still very close to the end of Pisces. But this is illusion and delusion showing itself, fantasy versus reality. And Pluto showing you exactly where you stand in your goals, your dreams, your ambitions. Where is this real? Where is the manipulation? Where are you taking responsibility and harnessing the control of the power? You have Lilith, which is getting along great with Jupiter and Uranus, the 6th house. Lilith standing in the fire of your groups, your memberships, your committees, in the form of your daily activities, your jobs, your mundane tasks. What do you do from moment to moment, day to day, which is the biggest part of your manifestation? And it's speaking with that expression of yourself. Are you expressing yourself and what you're trying to create? Or are you allowing everybody else to express what they need and why they need you to do it their way? This is about you standing in the manifestation and liberation of you and acknowledging where you've given hindsight to some naiveness. But this is a positive energy saying it can be broken, it can be changed. You have that Scorpio moon on the 27th and the 28th, which is getting along great with Mars. But Mars, like I said, is in that 12th house now, coming up here with Saturn, and it is steam. So this is, and then going directly into the Saturn, Venus, and Neptune energies as it crosses. So this is that Scorpio, and as you come through the end of the week, really, the Scorpio and the Sagittarius energies of making transformation, being in your higher ethics and your morals versus lust and ambition that could work against you. Doing it from a higher perspective, not from a lower moral or immoral perspective. And this is really speaking of futuring yourself into a new healing. But there's going to be steam here because Mars entering Pisces is just the steam blowing off energy. And this is about making sure we're realizing we're using it and applying it in a healthy way. Your hardest challenges this week is, like I said, that Saturn, Nessus, and Venus energy as it approaches and communicates with Lilith. Your mundane tasks, your daily moment to moment mundane, which is what you overlook. Your health, your diet, you get up every moment, you have what are you eating? What is your health diet? What is your energy diet? especially for the next 3 days as we overcome this eclipse energy. How is it supporting you or not supporting you? It is saying that you pay attention to where you put yourself in energies of not being supported in a healthy way. Then you have the sun, the north node, and Mercury, which is in shadow again. Your inner communication is looking at the darker perspectives. And this is that first house looking directly at that seventh house, Libra. So that's not just the the lunar eclipse, but that energy is taking place all the way through the week. Any and everything you care about within your relationships, including your part in them and what you're bringing to the table of them. Is there healing happening? Are you in your negatives? Mercury does do a lot of inner communications and our negatives when it's in shadow. Just me first energy. On the 27th, you have the moon, which is going to be questioning Pluto. This is speaking to us of, well, I guess Pluto all the way. Yeah, the moon's going to be questioning that Pluto energy, which I already spoke of, as it transfers through the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th house of your relationship shown and your mindful higher motives, your higher perspectives versus lust and where you're bringing it. But Pluto is not getting along with Mercury shadow all week. So all week is, will you let the inner masochistic part of you win? Or are you going to reharness and accept and overcome and teach yourself determination is the key. I love you guys. Bye.